Yeah, it's on the last, it will be the last live meeting. I got some changes here. Come on. Okay, good. I may not have to reboot. Go ahead, let everybody in. You got some music?
Yeah.
Like it's Sunday music, but that's all right.
No, I got the other one.
That's good. Okay.
Told me Tuesday that. All right, I'm letting them in.
Yeah, you make a good DJ.
Good evening, Jonathan. What's up, Nick?
Man,
Welcome.
My man.
I was just watching you just a little while ago. Back in October when we did the meeting, and you, Dr. Prasad, Dave, Jonathan, all you guys were on the screen together.
Okay.
And they wanted to know why were you coming over to us? I'm like, that was influential. That was good stuff there, man.
Okay.
You gotta go back and watch it. Go back and watch it.
I'll check it out. Okay. I remember what that was slightly a little over a month ago.
Yeah, it was October. Yeah, it was one of our update meetings I think we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
You and
Solely because of you.
Yeah.
Welcome,
I hate
everybody.
doing this.
Hey, Jonathan.
Welcome, Jonathan.
Yeah, so good to see everybody.
Oh, Jonathan.
Yes, indeed. James.
Hi.
We just had a meeting with Dave DeMelka and all the that legacy team meeting, boys. Somebody was talking about being in Minnesota with what? Mountains of snow? Insane. All right. Okay, we got folks just piling in. That's good. Come on. Anybody who's here for the first time. In fact, whether you're here for the first time or not, as a guest, go ahead, put your name and your email address, your phone number in the chat. Direct message me. And you're going to get free samples just for showing up tonight. And if you know anybody else that needs to hear about diabetes, especially as we're laying the foundation, going to Dr. Prasad's, the meeting with Dr. Prasad this coming Sunday, this is the night to be on. So get them here. And we're giving away some more free product tonight at the end of the meeting. More incentives. Well, you say stuff, but Black Friday is gone. But Cyber Monday is gone. No, it isn't. It's still here. So let's see what we can do. All right, Nick, you got to co-host me also, and co-host Rob. If Jeff makes it, co-host him. So we can get things rolling. We need to think about hiring this guy as a DJ, huh?
I do it on the side.
Very nice. Thank you very much there, Nick. Okay, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started. And nice to see you all here with us. By the way, just if you are here for the first time, we really like to know, to acknowledge your presence. So raise your digital hand and unmute yourself and just tell us who invited you if you're here for the first time. Just because there's folks here. Okay, there's Valerie. Valerie, who invited you, Valerie?
Well, actually, I have heard, Wayne Morris tonight, but Rob, they're, friends of mine, so.
Okay, all right. Well, they cared about you, huh?
Yes, they do.
Did you get the feeling like they just didn't want to leave you behind or what?
Hello, Val.
Hi, Rob. They didn't want to, I didn't think about that, I know.
Okay.
Just concerned about my health and stuff,
Well, that's a fine thing. And we're happy that they showed that kind of concern for you. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And welcome to everybody else. My name is Jonathan Jones. It's my pleasure, my privilege to be your host and moderator for the evening. And just to kind of lay the foundation for our discussion, just realize, folks, that the FDA is not evaluating any of the comments that we're making. Nothing that we're saying here tonight has been run by them, bounced off them, nothing like that. In fact, I have no script whatsoever. My goal here is to pass on to you information that has been carefully researched. That's what I am. I do research. I'm not a doctor and don't claim to be one. Anything you hear tonight, don't do anything I say because I say it. Please don't. Strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. However, the information that I'm passing on can be taken into consideration when it comes to making decisions about your health and well-being. Because let's just face it, right now, if you were to sit down and go to Google and submit a question to Google, how many responses do you think you get back? Whatever the question is, someone just tell me, how many responses would you get back to any question you submit to Google? James, what are you thinking?
0.
You get no responses, no good responses, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
But how many pages will come back referenced? How many pages? Anybody? Rob?
You will get a ton.
And what do you mean?
A ton of them. I would say easily, probably 50 pages.
No, you're absolutely wrong.
Really?
Yeah, it's going to be millions.
Whoa.
There'll be millions. At the very least, tens of thousands of responses. So just try it. Try it for yourself and see. Just, Google something like heart and immune system and just see what comes back. In fact, put the word glutathione in there and see, what comes back.
Okay.
So tons and tons of pages will come back. The question that I have for you is, where would you start?
Yeah.
And let's just say it was as low as 50 to 100 that Rob mentioned. Where would you start? Do you know, statistically, the average person does not go past the first 10 responses on the first page?
Yeah.
Statistically.
Yeah.
You Google something, the average person does not go past 10. Most, somewhere within the first 3. The vast majority. Why? Because most of us have the attention span, I hate to say this, of a gnat. We just don't want to sit there and read that much because now you start getting confused. But this one over here said that I need to rub my ear that way. But this one said I need to rub it this way. This one said I need to use oil that comes from a flower. That one says I need to use oil comes from a tree. Which is right? And they both have all these testimonials that claim that their thing is where do you begin? So I've done a lot of that already. And I can say that I've done a lot of that already because my wife was very sick. And I watched my mother die, and that showed me how ignorant I was. That's how I felt. I felt ignorant because I could not convince my mom to try something that was good for her immune system because she kept telling me that she had to check with her doctor first. And because of that, I feel that because of my own personal lack of knowledge, lack of ability to get past my own mother's suggestion or objection, that was the reason why I feel like I lost my mother. I was not going to stand by and just not have my wife. I was not going to stand by and lose her. So my determination was to get to know as much as I could. And since then, I've just been researching, read tons and tons of articles. I listened to lectures. I've gathered up a lot of information, and I don't mind gnarling down to some of the basics, because my goal was, I had this conversation with a new prospective customer today. She said, I don't expect to live forever. And I know that that anything that I expect from a spiritual point of view is handled a different way. She said, but I don't think that we should be miserable. She said, I think I could have a better quality of life as I age. Those were her words. And I 100% agree. And I said, that's what my goal has been, is not only to help facilitate that, but to make it possible at a reasonable cost. Free is not possible. That's just not happening. But we don't have to be paying for yachts also and mansions, for every Tom, Dick, and Mary that wants to send their kid to medical school and their grandkids to medical school. But we do want to feel better and have something reasonable that actually accomplishes that for us. I think we found a number of good things that will do that. We're going to share some of that with you tonight. But the thing that I think I despise probably more than anything, I don't like heart disease. I don't like cancer. I don't like any disease. But the one that I hate the most is the one that took my mother. So diabetes is, I have a particularly voracious venomous hatred for diabetes. And I don't think it's fair that people should have it. I don't think it's fair that anyone should suffer with it. And I'll tell you what really got me angry was not just the experience with my mom, but when I went to the Center for Disease Control, this was back around 2004, 2005. There's a big map they had on the wall. The map they had on the wall showed, I found my area, my city on the wall. And they had every place in the city broken down by zip code. And do you know what they had on each of the zip codes? They showed life expectancy. And within the zip codes, they had neighborhoods, and it showed life expectancy. And I stood there, and I got angry, because my thinking was, if you know what someone's going to die from on that side of the tracks, you could do something about it. If you know what this person's going to die from over there, what their life expectancy is, and from what, they even knew what disease you're more likely to die from, depending on what neighborhood you lived in. To me, that meant you could alter it, but didn't seem to concern anyone. And I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that that's civil, and I don't think it's right by any stroke of the imagination. But I believe diabetes is probably the single biggest contributor to misery. Let's put it to you that way. So if you guys don't mind, there's an excerpt from a documentary that we would like to share with you. And if you have not found this documentary yet, we're going to put a link to it in the description of this video, because I found it not on YouTube, but directly on the website of the person that created it, but it ran on PBS about 2 or 3 years ago. It's called Blood Sugar Rising. And I'd like to just share the first 4.5 minutes of this documentary. So just listen in, please, and note some of the statistics that are mentioned in connection with the dreaded disease that's referred to as diabetes. Okay, so it's called Blood Sugar Rising. Nick, do you have that? No, we don't have that, huh? Okay, all right, well, That's okay. We'll get to it whenever Nick brings it up. So what you're going to find, okay, here it comes. But what you're going to find is going to be quite sobering for those of you who know anything at all, about diabetes. You'll find it to be a little bit enlightening, and for those of you who do not, you'll also find it to be quite interesting. No audio, Nick, or is that just me?
There's no audio.
I don't know, Rob. I was going to hire him as a DJ.
He gets 3 strikes.
You know what it is. See, normally I'm the one with the brain boost issue.
In the United States, it is estimated that there's about 100 million people with diabetes and pre-diabetes, 100 million people in the country affected by a blood sugar problem.
The economic impact of diabetes is devastating. We spent almost $350 billion on diabetes in the United States last year.
Diabetes, a chronic disease that's notoriously difficult to control. It can maim and even kill. A generation ago, less than 3% of Americans had diabetes. Today, it's almost 10%.
It is now predicted that half of the US population will have either diabetes or pre-diabetes by the year 2025. Half.
Living with diabetes today is a story of new discoveries about our food environments and choices.
As a 7-year-old coming from a third world country and getting free candy, I was like, yo, I'm so down for America right now. Like, this is tight.
It builds on exciting new progress in drugs and technologies that have made the disease more manageable.
This device is around the corner, and that's really what we're trying to do, is get much better therapy to people that requires much less of their participation and provides much better care.
And it reveals the terrible struggles that so many with diabetes still have, day in and day out.
So they was looking at me like, how are you even standing here on your feet? You're supposed to be in a coma.
So when we think about the impact to the system, way too many emergency room visits, way too many amputations. Why isn't there a war on diabetes?
She got her flu shot already.
So this guy, I was just told, oh no, he's fine. Okay, we're good. Okay, let's put Goodall in the room.
Oh, thank
you. My nurse practitioner start with it. Thank you. I'm Dean Schillinger. I'm a primary care doctor at San Francisco General Hospital. 1 minute, okay? When I started out as a young doctor, about 1 in 20 of my patients had type 2 diabetes. Now it's 1 in 2.
Diabetes undercuts one of the most basic functions of our bodies, our ability to break food down into nutrients, including the sugar, glucose, that provides energy.
Okay.
The hormone that manages sugar levels is insulin.
So think of insulin as the medicine that you can't live without, right? Like a key that unlocks the door to your cells and allows the glucose to enter your cells. That keeps the level of sugar in your blood in check and your cells nourished.
This insulin-glucose cycle is disrupted in diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, the immune system attacks and destroys the part of the pancreas that makes insulin. In type 2, the pancreas makes too little insulin and the body resists the insulin it has.
It's really obvious when your blood glucose is too low why that's dangerous. You know, you can't breathe, you can't survive. You won't live very long if you have blood sugar that's too low. Blood sugar that's too high is equally dangerous, if not more dangerous, over time.
Diabetes is truly a silent disease. It could take up to 15 years for someone with diabetes to develop the first symptoms that are related to high blood sugar levels.
You don't have a water or soap, you want to use the alcohol pad.
For many people, by the time diabetes is diagnosed, the damage is done. Damage that can include blindness, heart disease, strokes, even amputations.
All right.
There's not a lot of things more disfiguring than losing a limb, particularly a leg or a foot. We now have a limb salvage unit at San Francisco General Hospital to handle the volume of these amputation patients, something 10 years ago would have been unheard of. I've probably seen.
And it's one of the saddest things, to see. And I think that entire documentary is worth watching. So we're going to share the link to that in the description of this video, so that you'll be able to find it if you decide you want to view the entire thing. But just think about some of the statistics that were revealed in that introduction. Now, this ran about 2 or 3 years ago, about 3 years ago, maybe 4. They said that at the time, there were 100 million people in the United States who were diabetic or pre-diabetic. 100 million. We're at about 130 million now. Did you notice that they also said it is estimated that they predict that by the year 2025, we're almost at 23, that instead of it being 1 in 3 who are diabetic, it'll be every other person, 1 in 2. 50% of the United States population that will be diabetic. Seriously, folks, ask yourself, how is this possible? How is this possible? Do you know what causes diabetes? They do. Do you know what the risk factors are? We do. Everyone knows what they are. But, and here's an interesting thing, is as Western diet makes its way across the planet, diabetes goes with it. So there are parts of this world right now that diabetes was unheard of, but is raging out of control in some of those places too. Not to the degree here. One sobering statistic was that it was a time when, decades ago, that diabetes was about 3% of the US population. Do you see that? It's 10% now. So, and it's a little bit more. So it was 10% at the time of the documentary. It's 33.33% now, heading toward 50%. Right now, in the UK, one doctor just gave a lecture that I heard that said that diabetes was about 4 to 5% in the UK. So anybody here been to England? You know, when you go around France and some parts of Italy, do you see the level of obesity over in those countries that you see over here? I noticed my wife, when we were there back in 01 and again in 05, 06, and you just didn't see it the same way that you see it here at that time. You know, at that time, who knows where it is at this point? But there's someone has commented that you just don't see it in those places. But and there's reasons for it. There's reasons for it. It's because of, they showed us part of it on the documentary. They explained how the pancreas works. So if you paid attention to that, you saw that it's all centered around the pancreas. There are some people who believe that the pancreas the value of the pancreas is measured only in its ability to produce insulin or its inability to produce insulin. But the pancreas is actually far more valuable than that. The pancreas is actually responsible for hundreds of different biological functions in the body. So it's not just the hormone insulin that's being produced by the pancreas. So when there was a documentary, a study, a clinical research study that was done, posted by the San Francisco Chronicle about 10 years ago, that revealed that diabetes medicine causes diabetes, and drilling a little deeper into it, it said that it was destroying the pancreas. So it does damage to the pancreas. So diabetes medicine does damage to the pancreas. And the rationale behind that is that, well, the pancreas is already not working. So what difference does it make? It makes a big difference because, again, insulin is only one of the hormones that the pancreas produces. They just don't talk about all the other things that the pancreas is good for. So, because if it was just insulin, maybe a person could really truly get by. But they don't. These are the figures that Dr. Prasad shared with us in 2017, from 2017 records, that there was $327 billion for treatment of diagnosed diabetes. $327 billion, and that was the figure. So if you include on the bottom half of the screen where it says undiagnosed and prediabetes and gestational diabetes, you're talking about $403 billion. That was back in 2017. The number is a little bit worse because we did the math just the other day, and using these figures right here. Okay. And going with the figure of 37 million with chronic kidney disease and multiplying it by, because right now, if a person goes in for dialysis, it costs about $6,000, per session. So we went too high, folks. So 37 million times 6,000 would be $220 million for one day of treatment. But that's for everybody. We actually have to multiply that by 71%, right? So 71% of that number, so the number's a little bit lower. So anybody want to do the math on 71% times 220 million? So 50% would be 111 million, right? So we're actually talking about somewhere in the area of $150 million. One day of one treatment on dialysis. No, that's incorrect. Hold on, folks. That's incorrect. I'm misleading you because that's not the correct number. The correct number is, I'm going to do the math myself. It's really this number here, right? Those who have 786,000 with end-stage kidney disease, okay? And then 786,000 with end-stage kidney disease and 71% of those. So maybe the number is not quite as high as we were thinking. So 786,000 times $6,000 for the day times 71% of that. So you're talking, a measly $3.3 billion 3 times a week. So we got to multiply that times 3. So that's $10 billion per week for dialysis. And how many weeks in a year? 52?
Mm-hmm.
That's $520 billion a year just on dialysis. 522 billion dinero. No, not dinero, dollars. Dólares per year just on dialysis alone. So that tells us that this number back here is a little bit low, right? You see, this number now is not even in the picture. We're only talking about dialysis here. Ask yourselves the question, is there a motive to get rid of diabetes? Where's the incentive? Who is the only one incentivized here? Now, this is a rhetorical question, but I'm kind of curious right now. I'd like to hear from you. Well, Rob, I know you were diagnosed with diabetes. My question to you, to you, Rob, who's the only person incentivized here to do something about this situation? And your business too.
The doctors and the pharmaceutical companies.
Mm-hmm. But what are they incentivized to do?
Oh, keep the medication flowing through the system for the patients, and getting them on dialysis. That's the incentive for them to get paid.
But wait. But don't they care about you and want to make you better?
That's the ploy, but you know, it's enough to keep us well enough, but sick enough to continue on that money cycle that they have. That's my personal opinion.
And that's a personal opinion. It's a good personal opinion, and it's a valid one. And I'm not calling into question the medical system's motives, because I do believe that the vast majority of doctors are truly concerned about people. I don't think people go to medical school just because the pay is good. I don't think so. I've given lectures to a room full of doctors. One of them did come up to me, though. One of them did come up to me, and he said to me, why would I give my patient something that I can make $250 on when I can put them in the system and make $250,000 on them? Those words were said directly to me at the end of a presentation to a room full of doctors. So he was about the money. But there are some, quite a few of them, that really do care about you as an individual. But now my question to everyone here now is, who should be incentivized to do something about their situation? Do we just sit back and accept it and just, like cattle, go on through the line and wait until, and hope the cow in front of me and the cow behind me are the ones that are getting eaten today? But that's what the majority are doing right now. So I'm going to stop that, stop beating that, because, I don't want anybody to feel like this is all completely hopeless, because there is something that you can do. And that's why you're here. And I believe that that's why someone invited you to be here. I think your eyes should be open and realize that, again, there's a business involved. It was kind of an eye opener for my family, my wife's family, when my brother-in-law died, because my wife traced it back. She remembered the day and the time when a doctor opened the door to my brother-in-law's room, looked in, and said to the nurse, "Yes, give it to him," and walked away. She tracked it and waited for the hospital bill to come along, because all of his treatment was being paid for. Cancer. He had some of the best insurance there was. She found that day, that moment, and that particular doctor's visit, and that glance was $600. The glance was $600. He didn't even walk in the room. He didn't even go to the bed. He didn't ask one word to my brother-in-law or anything else, but he got $600 for that glance. Now, if he glanced in every room on that floor within an hour, 600 times 50, let's just see here. Okay, I'm done with doing the math, all right? But that's what doctors get paid for, okay? And don't get me wrong, again, I'm not anti-doctor. I'm not anti-doctor at all, but I am pro do something for yourself, because again, I watched my mother die, and I asked the nurse, I said, "So what are y'all doing for her?" She said, "Well, we're monitoring her very closely." I said, "Well, I'm doing that. I mean, what are you actually doing to change her situation?" And the woman said to me, "To be honest with you, Jonathan, we're praying for her immune system to kick in." And I could not believe my ears. At that moment, my entire world shattered, fell apart, because that meant there was no chance my mother was coming out of there that day, and she died that day. Because I'm a firm believer in the power of prayer, but I figured they were actually doing something. So, do you want to feel as helpless as me? I don't think so. My determination was to try to make it so that because I thought someone should be explaining this. I thought someone should be telling us about this. There should have been some knowledge being presented to average people so we knew what to do. And there had to be an immune system kicker-inner available. You know, because if they didn't have one there, why weren't they running down the street to go find one? Here's how it works. This is the simple part of it. You eat food, okay? That's a stomach. That's what this is right here. That's the stomach. This is your intestine. And because of food going through the stomach and into the intestine, these cubes that we're looking at here, those aren't ice cubes, that's sugar, okay? That's what that's representing going into the bloodstream, sugar. If sugar stays in the bloodstream, you see those sharp edges on the sugar, it's like razor blades, it like cuts things up. Triglycerides, bad for the heart. There are some scientists who believe that diabetes and heart disease should be classified as the same disease. And what is the #1 killer in this country to this day? Heart disease. Some scientists believe diabetes and heart disease should be classified as the same thing. It's because the sugar, the glucose, becomes triglycerides and leads to blood pressure problems and a massive strain on the heart. Why doesn't the sugar go where it's supposed to go? Well, this is where the pancreas comes into play. The pancreas is supposed to produce insulin. In this diagram, insulin is drawn like a key. The key is to unlock a lock. It's our cells that need the sugar. But if the sugar does not go into the cell, the sugar just floats around endlessly and aimlessly and just does harm. The key needs to attach to the cell, just like it's doing right there. The key needs to attach to the cell so that let's get another picture here that shows it a little bit better. This next picture might show it if I can get to it. May show it just a little bit better so you can get an idea of how it works. You can almost see it on this screen right here, because if that key can penetrate, then the key can actually turn the lock and make the cell, how do you say it? It's called, in fact, before we go to the next screen, see what it says here? Glucose transporter protein 4. Okay, glucose transporter protein 4. That's something on the outside of every cell in the body that transports glucose from outside to inside. They call it a glucose transporter. Think of it like a tunnel, or think of it like the garage to a house. If your car is outside the house and you want to put it in the garage, you have to have a garage door opener so the car can now go into the garage. Well, the insulin is like that garage door opener so that the garage, which is the transporter, the glucose transporter 4, that would allow the glucose to go and enter into the cell. That would be the way it's supposed to work, the way it's supposed to operate in the body. Okay, so this the next screen is not going to kick up. So what I'm going to do is tell you that there is an immune system kicker-inner. There is a component that allows this process to work properly. But I think the best way to do it is to hear from some individuals who've had good results by putting a nutrient into their body and their body being able to better process sugar. And as the body was better able to process sugar, their body was able to function better. Now, let me preface all of this by telling you, again, the FDA is not evaluating any of the comments I'm saying. And I'm not suggesting that any micronutrient, any product from Engage Global or otherwise is a treatment or cure for any disease, let alone diabetes. There is no such thing as a cure for diabetes. That does not exist. So the medical community does a great job of treating it. So we're not by law allowed to even give you the impression that a nutritional supplement will cure or treat any disease. And we're not making that claim at all, okay? But we are saying that if you eat properly and put the right foods in your body can heal itself, okay? The supplements don't do it, your body, can heal itself and reconcile something that's wrong. So Nick, can we share one of the stories where individuals found the food that was missing from food and got good results with it? Do we have one of those that we can share? Can't hear you.
Yeah, we definitely do. We have Oscar. He has, it's a very brief one, but it's very powerful.
Okay, let's do Oscar, and then if you can, let's do Greg also.
Okay.
I'm diabetic. My A1C was in the 12s, which if you're diabetic, that's not a good thing. I'm also a high blood pressure person. My blood pressure was out of sight. When I got introduced to this product by Bob and Kathy, I had to have spinal surgery, upper spine, lower spine. Wound up taking no pain meds.
We're twins.
Which I love that because I'm not a pain med guy anyway. My A1C, I took my test just the other day, is 5.7. Excuse me. The only thing I'm doing different is microdairy. Nothing else.
Wow.
So I gotta say, it does what they say. And if we don't share it with other folks, shame on us.
That's pretty powerful. So hang on, Nick. We'll get back to Greg maybe later in our discussion if we have time. But that's pretty powerful. And remember, folks, we're not saying that that microdaily. He mentioned microdaily. That's what he felt was helping him. But all we're talking about is a nutrition that helps the body do what it's designed to do. And this is one of the pictures here that I was going to show you, that this is the cell. And as glucose comes in, it wants to get inside the cell. But this is the transporter right here. That's the channel that it has to go through. And the only way to get through that channel is if the key is in the lock to open it up. And that's insulin. So insulin, and it's amazing the way this is all designed. We're talking about it like it's some kind of a mechanical function here, but this is biological. This is taking place inside your body. And it happens all the time, or not. How do we make it happen more often and more regular? Now, of course, if the pancreas is damaged, as in the case of type 1 diabetes, that's a whole different discussion by itself. And we have found, though, that people who have added nutrition to their diet, that their body utilizes the insulin better. They need less of the outside influence of insulin in their body. But those with type 2, like this gentleman here, his A1C, he said it dropped. He dropped, and it was an emotional experience for him. And we're happy that he got those kinds of results. So the question that you should be asking yourself right now then is, what exactly did it? How did it work out? What was it that made that difference for Oscar? And Greg's story is just as compelling. And some of you here that are on here right now have gotten some phenomenal results with taking microdaily or adding it to your diet. It's actually very simple. It's a very simple process. The product is not very complicated at all. It's the food that's missing from our food. And this is what it looks like. It's the food that's missing from our food. It's called microdaily. And when we add this back into your diet, I take 6 of them during the day, and I take 3 more at night before I go to bed. I take the original at night before I go to sleep, by the way, along with the CBD. Talking about some really good sleep. It's pretty amazing, the benefits and the difference in that. In fact, I was showing you a picture just a second ago of it. Here's what, this is what the bundle that we recommend for folks. And it has everything that you need. Everything, if you want to have your health improve, this is where you want to go. And the one thing that that we'll talk more about this Sunday, and this is why it's so important for you folks to have been here tonight, is because we're going to be talking to Dr. Prasad about it. He has some brand new research he's going to be sharing with them, brand new set of slides that he's sharing with us about diabetes. But this product has a patent. It's got a patent. Well, MMF did. That was the original product. And in the patent, the words treatment for diabetes is included. That's in the title of the patent. We can't say that MicroDaily will treat or cure disease, but we can tell you that that there was a patent for the original formula that included the words treatment of diabetes mellitus. Happy to say that, because that was the thing that got my attention from the beginning. All the other words in my mind were just words. That's all it was. But when I saw that it had a patent, because I know how hard it is to get a patent. Number one, you got to spend some money. And number two, to get one that has the word treatment in the title, that's something special. This just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. But that's what the title of the patent is. And if we have some time, I'll show you a picture of that before the end of our by the end of our discussion. Okay, so but this bundle right here, $256.94, and it's just that simple. You get the probiotic boost, which is outstanding. You get the eye boost, you get the brain boost, you get the collagen, and you get the micro daily. And this combination right here really does improve health overall. And a lot of folks have said that they feel much, much better when they go on Dr. Prasad's choice bundle here. Okay, so I'm going to pause there for just a second before we start talking about free product and see if, number one, someone wants to share their own personal story. If you have been suffering with diabetes and you found some benefits by putting food back in your diet, the right kind of food back in your diet, we'd like to hear it. So please go ahead and just tell us, what you saw as a result if you are a diabetic. And there's no such thing as a small, story. Maybe there's something little that you notice. Like a lot of folks have noticed that their neuropathy improved. Some people said their vision improved. Some people just said that their heart function improved and their energy levels changed. So I'm not a diabetic, so I can't really, comment on it, only the things that I have observed in other people. And if you have a question about something that we just discussed, now's your time. Go ahead. Let's see it. Just raise your digital hand and let's start the conversation. Valerie, please go ahead.
Hello. Okay, so I was about maybe a little over a month ago. Well, I was pre-diabetic prior to just finding out about a month and a half ago that I am now diabetic. So when I was at my doctor's, she didn't want to put me on medicine just yet. So she wanted me to work on my diet. And me, I don't know it. I have a couple cousins, and it's on my cousin's father's side of the family that diabetes run in the family. I lost my uncle and his son like a couple years afterwards to diabetes. So, but I still didn't know much about it. I still don't know too much about it, and it doesn't run on my side. My mom had, my mom had it, but she had pancreatic cancer and she passed away from that. So that was a concern for me. I'm like, whoa, okay, because it doesn't run on our side of the family. So when she said that, I said, I just want to work on my diet, changing the way I'm eating. They gave me a list of different things that I could eat. I have not done it. I just cut down on, especially my carbs and the sugars. I just cut down a lot on that. I drink water every day now. I left the sodas and the juices alone. Every now and then I have a sip because I need that little taste every now and then. So, and I go back to see her in January just to see where things are. She also gave me the little machine where you prick your finger.
Yeah.
Twice a day. So I do that twice a day. And so far it's within range. I haven't gone over, I haven't gone under.
Very good.
And then I have to incorporate exercise in my not daily, but my life, because I haven't. I started and then I stopped once it started getting cold. I was walking, walking, and then it got cold, and I said, all right,
it changes everything.
I gotta hit the gym maybe. So actually I was gonna start that tonight, didn't do it. but I'm getting to it. So that's my story. And actually, one other thing, I just found out today, my 42-year-old cousin was just diagnosed pre-diabetic. So she's panicking. So another reason why I wanted to come on, just to listen.
So let me ask you then, Valerie, have you started taking microdaily yet?
Actually, yes, but I'm kind of stubborn when it comes to taking anything because I also have high blood pressure and also have thyroid, Graves' disease. So I'm slowly incorporating because I'm a little hesitant with new stuff.
Right.
You know, I'm on the meds for my high blood pressure and my thyroid. So I'm like kind of, I don't know, can I take this? I don't know if this is something I can take, but I'm slowly getting in, and I don't know if that's helping because I checked my blood pressure, and usually my blood pressure is up a little. Yeah. And today was the first day I checked it in maybe about 3-4 weeks, and it was like I think it was 99/70. And it hasn't been that low in a while. So I don't know if it's contributed to me taking the microdaily. I don't know. Even with my blood pressure, I don't know. So that's my story.
Let me just, can you see the participants, the list of participants on this meeting right now? Can you see them?
What, their faces or just the list?
The list of participants.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can everybody who's on right now, if you can, just raise your digital hand if you initially wondered if microdaily was making a difference or if it was just a fluke.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
So that looks like about 1/3 and climbing of the participants here, of those who are here right now. Also,
I can't raise my hand, but my hand should be up.
that wondered if it was helping them or if it was just their imagination. That's what it was.
And see, I don't know. And see, I don't know if it's helping or not because, like I said, this is new for me. Yeah.
It is.
Oh, it is.
It's the microdaily, period.
Because again,
it works.
Again, I'm not saying it doesn't. Because I changed my diet in the way I
Nope.
No.
Nope. Nope.
Okay,
it is the microdaily. Oh yes.
A lot of people have said that, Valerie, have said, well, I was also walking more steps. And, I actually, I didn't sit in the same spot on the couch. So that could make a difference. And I watched less television and I got a new cell phone.
Are you saying I'm making excuses?
Look, listen, we've been doing this for a long time and we don't heard everything everybody ever said. Where they thought that anything else was doing it. Except microdaily.
No, I'm not saying it's not.
No. Hold on. I know. I hear you. We have heard this so many times.
Okay.
That's the reason why I asked everybody to just raise their hand because they all could tell you the same thing that they felt initially. They just weren't sure yet. So you will find in time, you'll come to recognize that it's making a difference. And Sharon, go ahead, Sharon. You had a comment there?
All I just wanted to say in reference to the microdaily, when I started it, I was like, okay, I'm buying this product and I don't see nothing, whatever. And then like maybe a month or two later, I might start to think, I'm like, you know what? I'm standing on my feet and it's not hurting me. My back's not hurting me. Because I broke my back, fell off the roof and broke my back, and I had my ankle broken and my wrist broke. And I'm like, I don't have this pain. I have deteriorating disc and I don't have no pain. So I always tell people, try to write down the different things that is bothering them. And then after a week or 2 weeks, then you go back to your little diary that you wrote the stuff down and you start, then you can see that it makes a change. Because sometimes when you don't have no pain, you don't think about it. But then when the pain comes back, you're like, oh, I'm in pain. So, that's how I was. I did not think it was working. I was just going about my merry way, but I wasn't in pain, but my brain didn't say, Sharon, you're not in pain anymore. It's just like, hey, it's just a norm. But, it creeped up on me and I didn't have no pain.
Yep, that's one. And Lisa? How do you know?
Because I ran out and all of those normal feelings that I was having were not where they were real, because the pain started coming back when I ran out.
Okay, so what you telling Valerie?
I'm telling her that you might not be giving credit to Micro Daily because you think it's something else, or maybe something else. I was vegan for 8 years and I couldn't lower my blood pressure. My blood pressure has come down since I took Micro Daily. But then I kept saying, well, maybe I'm just having a good time, because sometimes it would be lower than other times, whatever. If you run out, you'll see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
If you quit taking it, you'll know. You will give credit to Micro Daily.
Yep, we've heard that one several times. Go ahead, Dolores.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest, just don't take it for a few, just stop taking it. Don't take the Micro Daily. You'll be able to tell.
Mm-hmm.
If you run out and get low, your body lets you know you're not getting your sufficient amount of Micro Daily. So just don't take it and see what happens.
Thank you. So that's just a sampling, Valerie, of those who have drawn a conclusion that it is making a difference. And I know for me, for certain, if I don't take it, I'm in trouble. And just today I got a text message from another affiliate that says my shipment is delayed. Something's happening in Utah. It's not going out. This is a 911. I mean, she was dead serious about it. This is not just, I wish I could borrow some someplace. Where can I get some? Because my shipment is delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So she was looking for somebody to go to FedEx and just get it to her. She found somebody local, so
Mm-hmm.
you might be saying to yourself, what, everybody gonna become a bunch of junkies? Yeah, we kind of
You said a bunch of junkies.
we kind of like feeling good.
No, I don't think so.
We seriously like feeling good. That's the way it's worked out. So.
Oh, I love feeling good. I love feeling good.
Well, we want to hear your story in a couple of weeks, all right? Make sure you circle back and tell us.
Well, so should I stop taking it and then let me see how my pressure is and see how my blood sugar level is?
I'm not going to suggest that at all. I'm going to suggest you keep on taking it, and sooner or later, something's going to get your attention.
Yeah. No, I'm not ruling it out at all. I'm just, like I said, I popped on just to hear about it.
Well, come back on Sunday, make sure, because then you'll hear the scientist himself.
Okay, yeah, I want to see if I can get some of my family members in on it.
Oh, get them on this Sunday, because that's what all this is being set up. It's just a prelude to that meeting when Dr. Prasad will be on the same Zoom link and everything. Bring everybody you want to get your whole family here if you care.
What time?
5 o'clock, 5 p.m. Sunday.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And go ahead, Ms. Slaughter.
Yeah, thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan, in your just talking with us, you mentioned that you take something to sleep. It was a CBD. What exactly do you do?
I take, during the day, I take the EMF because I spend a lot of time on the computer anyway, and we all are being exposed to 5G radiation no matter what. So this is what I take during the day. And I found, this is just me personally, I found that I didn't sleep quite as well when I took EMF at bedtime. If I took this at bedtime, I tended to have a little bit more energy. So Jeff, years ago, when I was having trouble sleeping, and my wife too, he said, take 3 of the original right at the minute you're planning to go to sleep. Not a little ahead of time, not the minute you put your head on the pillow and your intention is to go to sleep. He said, take 3 of the Micro Daily original. I said, are you psycho? That's just gonna keep me up all night. He said, trust me, take 3. Those three laid me out. By the time I woke up again, first of all, vivid dreams. Second of all, next thing I know, it was morning. And that had not happened for a long time. So I personally have found that the three original right at bedtime knocks me right out. I started adding some of the CBD. I take 2 of the CBD boosts, 1 or 2 at bedtime too. And I hear my name, and if something's going on, I hear it, I will wake up. But other than that, for no other reason do I get up. I don't get up to go to the restroom, nothing. I sleep through the night. I wake up when I'm done sleeping.
So you take them at the same time, the 3 and the 2?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to deal, overcome insomnia, that CBD boost will do it. And your anxiety levels will go down. And by the way, CBD has a great deal of benefits. We were going to talk about that tonight, but I decided we'll shift it into next week. But we're going to do a deep dive into CBD because they did a study last year, I think it was, where the places in the brain where the spike protein wants to go, CBD populates those places. So imagine spike proteins from SARS-CoV-2 trying to find its way into your brain. By the way, they have measured brain shrinkage from SARS-CoV-2. So they know what it does. It's creating brain fog. But CBD populates all those receptors in the brain that SARS-CoV-2 wants to go to. So for no other reason, if for no other reason, you want to take CBD just to fill up all the parking spaces.
Okay, so and that original is in a green bottle?
That's the green bottle, yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're quite welcome. Now, there are some people who will feel like the green bottle, the red will do the same thing. I'm just telling you from my own personal experience, that green one, 3 of them at night, at bedtime, bam.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know.
Go to sleep and you stay asleep.
Okay, if not, I'm gonna call you.
All right, very good. Melanie M has a question.
Yes, as we sit here and talk about diabetes and the pancreas and just some of the webinars I've sat on, what for those with no pancreas, like it made me think about that. Like how have we, there been any individuals who don't have a pancreas, and like how Microdaily, or if they're using Microdaily.
Did you say don't have a pancreas, or the
Yes.
pancreas is not?
They don't have a pancreas. They do not have a pancreas.
Yeah. In that case, you definitely absolutely have to have outside support. But what Microdaily has done for them is it supported them with all the other ancillary benefits, because pancreas or not, you're still dealing with oxidative stress. Pancreas or not, the cells can still be resistant to the benefits of glucose going in. It's improved it so that they need less insulin and less other drugs. And if they are taking other drugs, the side effects of those drugs are also ameliorated to a greater degree.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. So it's a win-win for everybody, with or without them. I don't care what organ you're missing. This is a benefit. Go ahead, Nick, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure, Dr. Prasad suggested that once we take these tablets, he said, make sure that you take them with food and drink plenty of water. The 2 factors that help everything to emulsify right into your bloodstream. So
that's right. Very good. Very good. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you very much. And there's a good reason for that too. See, because some of the components in Microdaily are oil soluble or fat soluble, so they won't break down just in water. Quite a bit of them are all water soluble, but some of them are fat soluble. So you have to have some fats in your stomach in order for them to be absorbed properly into your bloodstream. So thank you, Nick, for bringing that up. And drink plenty of water, because as your body starts to detoxify, you got to give those toxins someplace to go. They need a pathway out. Okay? All right, very good. Okay, so we're going to wrap up right there, and just remind everybody, be here this coming week on Thursday. We are going to have a meeting, and this is the meeting where we hear a lot about what you have to say. So you got a story, we want to hear about it on this coming Thursday. So Actually, Thursday is December. We were going to just try this through the month of November. So Thursday might be different. So we'll see. We'll give everybody a chance to vote on that one way or the other. And so let's see here.
Hey, Jonathan,
Yes, please.
they are having the all women's rebroadcast tonight. I put it in the chat for all the
Excellent.
ladies that want to jump on it. They're gonna have Dr. Goodwin. She's an MD that did that call.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So the link is in the chat. So all the information on that is in the chat. And what time is it going to start? Is it started already? You got all the information in there. Okay, good. All right.
No, it starts at in an hour.
It starts in 1 hour. Okay, all right. But I'll tell you what we'll do is I think somebody's sending me a note here telling me that we're supposed to be giving away some free products. So I'm trying to decide if we still gonna give away free product or not. So let me just think about that for a second. Go ahead, Valerie.
Kai, can they put the link for the women's all women's meeting? I got kicked out, and when I go to look, it's not in there. It cleared it out.
Okay, good. Yeah, repost that again, everybody. And for everyone who wants to get a free sample, especially if you're a guest, make sure that you direct message me your name, phone number, email address. Direct message me in the chat so that we can make sure that you get your free sample tonight if you're a guest, okay? All right, so let's talk about some free product, okay? Some free stuff. The free stuff is centered around Black Friday, the Black Friday special. So this is what we offered this past Sunday, so that if you go and tonight, the deadline was last night, by the way, that was Monday. But it was pretty successful. It was pretty successful. So a lot of folks felt cheated that they got cut out and didn't get to get it done because customer service was closed. So here's what we're going to do again. We're going to bring this back again. And this is not Engage Global that's doing this. The part that Engage Global is doing is over here. It's the Cyber Monday special offer. You buy 2 of the gummies and they will give you 1 free. That's the part that Engage Global has. And you can get that all the way up until tomorrow night. So tomorrow night is the deadline for that. The part that your legacy team upline is doing is the part over here on the right. So tonight, and you now have until tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, and they just announced, we just had a legacy team meeting. Customer service is going to be open until 11 p.m. Eastern time, tomorrow night, end of the month. Customer service is going to be open until 11 p.m. Eastern time. If you buy 1 Black Friday special, you'll get 2 free trials. You know what that means? That means if you have family members like Valerie, you got some family members, and you want them to try Micro Daily, they'll get 2 free trials. 2. Very simple. And that's almost a week's worth of Micro Daily. Okay. Now, how do we send the proof to eg@jonathanejones.com. Okay. When you send the proof that you've made the purchase, then we're going to be sending you a link. It's a Google form that you'll be able to fill out. Then you can tell us exactly where you want to send your free trial. So you're having trouble with my hieroglyphics? Yeah, okay. Some really love the way I write. I'm sorry, my writing is just terrible. But you send it eg@jonathanejones.com. Okay. And now that's your proof that you made the purchase. And it'll be routed to the right person. Don't call customer service with this. So some folks actually been calling customer service asking about their free bottle of Micro Daily. Oh, I didn't get to that part yet, right? Your other option, this is a Cyber Monday special, is this one. If you buy 2 of the Black Friday specials, 2 of these, then we're going to send you a free bottle of Micro Daily. Okay? Free bottle. That's yours. Now, if you're in my group, and you buy the 2, I'm going to give you a choice. I'm going to give you 2 options here. I'm going to actually give you 3 options. 3 options, okay? 1, if you're in my group, ImmuneRx, you can get the spray or you can get the samples, whichever one you prefer. You can get a bottle of spray. And if you do this one, you can get the ImmuneRx combo. Okay? So everybody else just ignore what you're hearing right now. But if you're in my group and you know what ImmuneRx is, that's the other option that you can get. So you can get the spray here, or you can get the combo if you buy 2. Just send it in, and I'll be happy to send that over to you. Okay, just email it in that you made the purchase and which one you prefer, and go from there. Oh, one more option. I have 2 more boxes of gummies still left. Gummies of the samples. So that's a 3rd option for you on that last one. Okay, so that's a lot of free stuff. And hopefully that gives you enough information to realize that the benefits of having the gummies. I can't really say enough about buying those, the value of buying those gummies, because it's a simple, easy way for kids to be able to be on Micro Daily. My grandniece, I put her on it, so I sent it to my sister so she can keep my grandniece on it. And she's been going to school. Kids been coughing on her and COVID all over the place. And my brother-in-law came home and he'd been double vaxxed, but he was sick as a dog from COVID, tested positive for COVID. My sister's on Micro Daily. My grandniece is on the gummies, and neither one of them got sick. I know y'all think I'm just my brother-in-law. No, I love my brother-in-law, so don't think I'm anti-brother-in-law. I'm just talking about the power of Micro Daily. Neither one of them came down or tested positive with it. It doesn't mean that it prevents COVID or anything like that, but it was nice to see that neither one of them was affected by that horrible condition. Okay. All right. So there we go. That's some free stuff that we're giving away. This is your last chance. And this got to be by tomorrow night now. This is all got to be done by the time Engage Global closes tomorrow night. I need to get those emails in. And then it's going to take us a while to process it all. So if you've already made your purchases this past Friday and you did your thing, we're still sorting all that out, and we will get everything sent out to you. I got a whole box of them gummies sitting right here. I got a whole bunch of Micro Daily sitting over there. We got a bunch of ImmuneRx sitting around that will get shipped out to those who do your part, and we will definitely do our part. Okay? Any questions? No questions? Did my screen die?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yes, you were saying you take the Micro Daily before you go to bed, the regular, the first one. Do you have to take oil with it as well?
It's good to have some food, just some kind of food in your stomach. Just a small amount. It doesn't have to be a lot.
Okay, because I use black seed oil.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, anything like that is fine.
Okay.
Good, thank you. And that's Stephen Robertson, okay? And Christine Gaddy has a question.
Yes, Jonathan, I wanted to ask you a question. It's kind of like, kind of pretty simple, but the EMF, they had to put them in the clear capsule for a little while, and now they have the green back. Now, that green on there does that have some kind of chlorophyll in it, or is it like can you open it up, or does it? I mean, is it a protector? Is it something extra that we get by having the green capsule?
There's absolutely no benefit whatsoever. No health benefit to the green capsule.
Okay.
It does not change the formula. You can open it up and empty it out into something else. My mother-in-law can't can't do capsules. My wife does not do capsules.
Mhm.
There's no gluten in it or anything, but if you want to give your stomach less to process, then just open it up and put it in something. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Good question. Go ahead, Ms. Slaughter.
Okay, sorry, I'm going back to what Stephen was saying. You say have something on your stomach, and he was saying he do black oil, so you can take some type of fish oil or something before, or as long as you got something oily. Do it have to be oily or
Well,
what?
just remember it's fat soluble. So just kind of figure that part out.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
Avocado is good too.
Avocado is fat. Pecans are fat. You know, sometimes a couple of nuts, you know, just something that's got some kind of fat.
Okay.
And some people, you have residual fat in the stomach anyway, you know, from dinner. So that may still be there. So don't make it a lot of stuff, because, you know, eating too much at night, of course, you won't rest properly, but just a little bit.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Very good questions. My goodness. And I mentioned before that we were going to talk a little bit about things to stay away from with diabetics, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to at least show a sheet, a list of things this coming Sunday with Dr. Prasad. I'm going to ask him about that. But folks, avoid high fructose corn syrup. So look for it and try to avoid it, because they hide it in everything, and it does behave in the body as sugar. They'll call something sugar-free that will have hidden sugar in it. Another hidden sugar is maltodextrin. It's hidden. It's a filler, and they don't have to list it as sugar, but they put it in a lot of things. So look at the label. In fact, you'll see it sometimes. And there's other sweeteners. There's another thing that they put as an additive in stevia. Here you've got a substitute sweetener that has no negative impact whatsoever, but then they've got some other hidden sweetener that spikes your glucose levels. All right. So, but look for maltodextrin and high glucose fructose corn syrup. Stay away from those things. And the other reason for the fructose corn syrup too is because of the corn. And now you're talking about GMO stuff. That's a whole different conversation. But those two things, you want to try to avoid those at all costs. Do not put that in your body. Okay. All right, folks. Thank you all very much for joining us. It's so happy to have you with us. My name is Jonathan Jones. It's been my pleasure, my privilege to be the host and moderator for this evening. Make sure that you're here this coming Sunday at 5 o'clock. We're going to be interviewing Dr. Prasad. Dr. Peter Prasad, the formulator of Micro Daily Original, the guy that's made this possible for us. 88 years old, he's still writing books, and the man right now is in the middle of doing the work for another paper. He's writing more papers. One of the papers he's going to write is on diabetes. In fact, if you're a type 2 diabetic and you've got a story to tell, send me an email. Send me an email. If you're a type 2 diabetic and you got a story to tell, you could potentially be included in Dr. Prasad's paper on diabetes. So you might want to do that. And Stephen, spotlight Stephen there so we can show that book that Dr. Prasad just wrote. You can find this on Amazon.
I just got it yesterday.
Just got yours on. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's the book that you want to have, and he's got one on cancer that's on Amazon also, folks. There's another one there on diabetes also. So wait for his update. He's doing some updated work on diabetes right now. So this is the most exciting thing that we have a chance to be a part of. Okay. All right, folks. You guys have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Let's go.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming.
All right.
Bring your stories on Thursday. Bring your stories. Whoever's got a story, I don't care how small it is, bring it on Thursday. We want to hear it.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Let's
night.
go.
Night. Thank you. I have a guest on tonight. I hope she put her name in the chat.
All right, good night, everybody. We're gonna shut it down.